I'd like to welcome everyone to today's edition of the Software Spotlight podcast. And joining us today from Poland, we have Waleria Pagowska, and she is working in the marketing group over at Brand24. And welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you for introducing me. Nice to be here.
And a lot of our listeners have been looking at the solution and have been wondering about it, but I was hoping you could give us a inside perspective as to the kind of like the origin of Brand24 and where the brand came from and how it got to market.
Hmm. Sure thing. If it comes to Brand24, we would like to call ourselves still a startup. We are actually a startup from 2011, where when we opened the social media monitoring for our customers, and since then there will be constant improvements, and we try to make this social listening thing as pleasurable and as fun as possible, and give our customers as many insights about their brands, their projects, keywords they want to track as possible. So this is a constant improvement. We are developing new features, new AI solutions, and I am happy to tell you more about it during this podcast.
Great. And I see that there are just thousands of different companies all around the world, all the way from Intel and Samsung up to other companies that people are familiar with, different universities and the like, using the solution for for their social listening tools. So it's a very exciting product, and a lot of our listeners are excited to hear about the product. And thank you for giving us a little background. Um, can you tell us about some of the key features and capabilities of the Brand24 tool, and how companies might use those features?
Sure. Sure thing. And of course, I will in a second share with you my screen, and I will tell you more about it. But let me start with something that you said, and I want to elaborate, which is pretty cool, I would say, is that our tool is somehow useful for many brands and for many people inside the brand, because we are mostly known, I would say, as a marketing tool, but at the same time, a lot of customer success teams or sales teams or data teams are using information that they gather in Brand24 for their own use. And because of that, I would say that as online reputation management is our key use case for Brand24, and there is plenty more, and Brand24 allows you to actually use the social listening and gathered information in many different ways. For example, for, I don't know, hashtag tracking, or for competitor analysis, or for getting the feedback about your product. And it's quite useful for product teams, and we actually use it in our own company. So it's not like we give you the product and just let it go, but we actively use it on our own brand. So this is something that I would like to put a pressure on at this time, that actually, like, whenever you have an idea to use social listening somehow in your brand, there is a big possibility that we will help you with it. And for sure, our customer team would be more than glad to skyrocket your experience and your insights about it. And if it comes to the tool itself, let me share the screen.
Great.
And I think that we will go with the Samsung project for now, because I have plenty of projects for myself, but this is one that I think can be useful, because social listening is useful it can be sometimes overwhelming, especially for the bigger brands, but smaller ones are gonna find useful use cases in our tool also. But if your brand or the hashtag you want to track are mentioned all over the internet, and there is thousands of mentions during the day, it's impossible to keep track of it. And it's very useful to do so, because there might be insights about your brand that you were not familiar with before. There can be a new solution you introduced to your product, and you want to know how the audience respond to that. Or you may want to see if your like presence in the internet have increased thanks to your marketing efforts, or you just want to keep the track of what people are saying and be ready for any, hope not, but crisis, image crisis that can occur. And social listening is like a key action for that not to happen, and for you to always be in like before everything, and always be prepared for what's going to happen. So for the Samsung project, for example, we can see here the mention tab, which is like the main tab in the tool. And here you have the list of every mention that we gathered through, like from the beginning of your project when you set it up, and sometimes it can also gather like mentions from before that. But it's like we encourage you to start your project the moment that you want to gather information, and because the historical data cannot be as good as the one that we are following right now from the moment you start your project.
So let me ask a question. So let's say I were a product manager
Mhm.
within Samsung, and I wanted to, focus on my specific product within the organization. Is that a good use case for the solution?
Yes, it is, of course. I mean, you want to either follow the Samsung keyword, or if you are going for a specific product, because Samsung is a big company, you can go to settings and choose the required and excluded words, the ones that you want to occur in your mention tab. And for example, the new Samsung phone that you want to track responses to
Sure.
after the launch of the product. And you can also use the excluded words. This can be useful, for example, when you have not Samsung here, but I don't know, Apple. And as we know, Apple is also like a big tech company, but at the same time is a really tasty fruit. So you don't want to mix those keywords up. So you want to, for example, use an excluded word and say that fruit should not occur, or salad should not occur, or apple pie should not occur. So this is like something that helps you to organize your project. And at the same time, as I mentioned before, our team is also every time ready for you to ask us if you need any help with setting this project right for the data we gather to be like the best there is. So yeah, like when you are a product marketer in Samsung, I think it's a great use case actually, because a lot of product marketers are using our tool. Um, me myself included, actually, because I am a product marketing specialist here in Brand24, and I also use our tool to track our own brand, as you can see here. And so, if it comes to the tool itself, we have a lot of useful options. Like, for example, we have a lot of filters that you can use to narrow down your results. Because, for example, for this case, for the Samsung, you can see how many mentions are gathered just for the last 30 days. So it's quite overwhelming. But if you want, for example, to use our Brand24 for, I don't know, the specific use case, like influencer acquisition, there may be a great help for that with, for example, our influencer score, which tracks people who are mentioning your brand and showing off their reach, how many followers they have, and how can they be useful to your brand. And for example, if you want to use our tool more in for backlinks acquisition, for example, you will go for the filters and tick out the blogs section, so that you can check which blogs are which articles are using your brand's name and how are they performing, and if it's cool to reach out for them for the link or not. So there is a lot of use cases and there is a lot of filters that can help you. As you mentioned before, for example, our tool is not only used by marketers, but for example, a lot of universities, especially the ones that teach marketing, showcase Brand24 to their students. So there is a lot of people that use it for the universities. So, for example, the scholar domains that can be useful for your bachelor degree, for example, can be put here. Like Google Scholar for example, and the mentions that you need will be filtered out. So you can use all those filters as you wish and see the results. And I would actually recommend for the first time to spend a little of time here in this mention tab, because one problem we can see from our users is that they are not always aware of how powerful the tool can be for them, because they are not aware of some of the filters, of some options or the use cases, because like we know exactly how our users are um, uh, getting advanced from Brand24, but as you as a single user are not always aware of it. So here is the mention tab, and I think that I spoke a lot about it. So maybe let's go to other tabs. And
Sure.
for that, this tab is to keep track of all the mentions you have of your brand. In the summary tab, though, and in analysis tab, those both tabs are useful for data analysis. And if you are into reporting, because for example, as a marketer, you always want to report your results or effects of your marketing efforts to, for example, your supervisors. And at the same time, you want to check how you are performing yourself.
So
So
it
here
sounds
is
like the tool is really helping to draw some insight from that social data. Is that
Yes, that's one cool thing, and we are so happy for our customers to give us this feedback, because we noticed that for the last at least couple of months, people are changing the view of Brand24 from the notification tool to insights tool, and we are doing best we can to reach to their expectations and to give them all the insights they can. And about that, I can talk a little bit more later, because we have a lot of AI solutions that are actually really helpful. But as you can
great?
see, here are the top public profiles, most influential sites. You can see it also in the influencer tab, where you have the list of most influential users and creators. And because of that, it's loading a little bit, but it's a big project actually. So you can see what site is the most like common for those users, and who are those most influential profiles, what's their influence, like what's the reach compared to the engagement of the site itself, and how many people it has reached. And because of that, you can easily check and reach out to any person that you find suitable for your brand, if you are, for example, into influencer acquisition. And
So
yeah,
these might be some influencers that are actually on staff helping out influencing, or they may be paid influencers, or they may be just influencers that the brand didn't even know about that may be appropriate to reach out to. So it's a way to identify influencers.
yes, exactly. Like as I mentioned before, the influencer acquisition is one of our many use cases, but it's actually really helpful, especially for those not such a big brands like Samsung, but for the smaller ones, where you can check out if there is anybody talking about your brand that you are not aware of. And if they do, you want to reach out to them and just say that, hey, maybe you can work with us because you are already talking about our brand, or if not a brand, because sometimes the brand can be smaller and nobody is yet talking about it, but at the same time your brand is related to something. There is this niche that you are working in, so the project that you're setting up does not necessarily have to be your brand's name. It can be something related to the market you're on. For example, I don't know, sportswear, when you are a small, maybe not Nike, but a smaller company who just starts to be visible in the market, and you want to use some of those influencers that are already known in this specific field to help you with that.
So it's
So
a great way to identify influencers that may be working with other parts of the market or competitors or what have you.
exactly, yes,
Great.
competitors too. And this tool also has a big potential if it comes to benchmarking against competitors, seeing how like they perform and what can we do to be as good as them or better, preferably. So yes, but we will like skip to comparison tab, I think, in a second. And here, like in analysis tab, you see a lot of cool metrics that can be helpful for your reports. You can see the number of mentions. You can see the ave of your brand, or user generated content. So it's very helpful to get the bigger picture of how your brand is performing.
And is it
And
able to track the data over time, or is it just
yes,
for a static point in time?
yes, it is. You have here the calendar,
Okay.
and you can set the dates for a custom one or the one that we can help you choose from here. But as I mentioned before, like we're encouraged to do so from the moment that you set up your project, so that the data is the best there is. So yeah, this is that. One cool feature about Brand24 is its presence score, which showcases how your brand is performing over time and how renowned it gets. So you can see that, for example, it's 94 out of 100. So, for example, for Samsung, as we can imagine, in the online area, it's pretty renowned. I think Netflix has even a bigger presence score. For Brand24, it's around 31, and we always try to get it better because we correspond with people that are mentioning us. We always respond to their mentions. We always respond to their feedback, either if it's negative or positive. So we take care of our online reputation via Brand24, and because of that, our presence score can get bigger, so our brand gets like known better. Later, you have mentions by category, so you can see where the, for example, Samsung is best known on. Where are the mentions coming from? Here, you can see that Instagram is like the best place, for example, for your marketing campaign, paid one, and maybe focus on Instagram because here are your viewers. And trending hashtags, for example, if you again are a smaller brand, for example, and you want to get like better recognition, and how to do that, for example, using Instagram and using the right hashtags for people who are not familiar with your brand to click on the hashtag and somehow find themselves on your brand. So this is a cool option here. Same with trending links and link acquisition that I mentioned before. One thing I want to show you is context of discussion, because as I mentioned before, there is this use case of Brand24, which is a market research. And when you're a smaller brand, for example, you are not really like familiar with what kind of discussions are going on around the topic of your brand, not only your brand but like the market and the niche you are in. So here are the words that can be used, for example, as a hashtags or as a new project for you to follow to get best insights from the market you are on. And you can also see, for example, if it's green, it's the sentiment of it, which is one of my favorite actually features of Brand24, and it's an AI solution that showcases how your brand is perceived, how mentions that we gathered are perceived, if they are negative, positive, or neutral. And because of that, you can quickly see that, for example, okay, we have a lot of views this month or a lot of mentions, which is awesome, but wait, there's something wrong because most of them are negative, and you cannot really see it like when you're just rushing through the mentions. You can check it in your mention tab, for example, and check all the negative and all the positive sentiment. For example, to protect your brand reputation, if you're taking part, for example, in a risky campaign are somehow provoking, you may want to take care of those negative feedbacks and not allow the crisis to get bigger, for example, if it comes to that, because sometimes you are not aware that the topic you overtook was somehow provoking. For example, I don't know, the Kendall Jenner in Pepsi from a few years ago, when during the Black Lives Matter protests, that was such a big failure. But at the same time, it was something that Pepsi didn't predict, and if it would, like, Brand24 would be a great way to do so, because you can see each and every negative mention that is said about your brand. And this is also a great use case for product specialists who want to improve their product, because you can see what people are saying, what they don't like, and you can react to that. And I think that everybody knows that if you want your brand and your product to succeed, you have to listen to your customers, because this product is for them. So you need to know what they are thinking. And one of the possibilities is to listen to what they say online, because people are rather familiar, like they tend to write bad reviews more often than the positive ones. So
Yeah. So
you
it
can
sounds
check
like
it.
the AI or artificial intelligence is really drawing insight over vast amounts of data.
Yes, yes, it is. And here in Brand24, we try to get as much as out of it as possible. And for example, we have this Lab24 tab, which is basically our place to go if it comes to AI solutions. And it showcases how AI can be useful for your social listening. And we have few AI solutions actually, like topic analysis or emotion analysis. Soon there are coming more of them, but except from those two, which is emotional analysis, is basically like a sentiment analysis, but I would say better, because it shows not only the if the mention is positive or negative, but also what emotion do they inspire in people. If it's admiration, if it's sadness, if it's disgust. So this is a pretty cool feature for you to know exactly what people are thinking about your brand or the topic you decide to check out. As I mentioned before, Samsung maybe not the best actually option to showcase you these things, because it's a big project. So maybe soon I will skip to other one. But yeah, let me actually do it right now. Maybe like will be a little bit faster.
It really is just amazing to see the amount of data that's organized in such a friendly format. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on there, but the user interface is really very clean and very intuitive.
Yes, we try to make it as user friendly as possible, our dashboards. So I'm very glad that you're saying that. And how you say here, most of those are neutral because not everybody wants to express their emotions online. But you can explore neutrals and see what other emotions are there. For example, joy, sadness, admiration is the biggest one. Disgust is like also a big portion of it. So, and you can see how they perform in time. And here are the like the mentions still gathered for this week. So let's give it a moment. But from the past months and actually days, you can see what increased. And by the spikes, you can actually check what, for example, posts or what campaigns did you start that made those charts the way they are. So you can gather insights about how you are performing and how your marketing efforts are influencing your brand. So this is something that our AI helps us with. We gather all the mentions from the project, and then our AI solution qualifies it as a one of those emotions regarding the words that are used in those mentions. So this is pretty powerful solution, and our R&D team is working really hard on it. Another one is topic analysis, which is great if, again, you are not very familiar with the market you are on and you want some benchmarks and you want some new insights and want to be inspired. And here you can see what are the most common topics if it comes to Lego. And for example, you can see that Lego Star Wars is a popular topic here, or Lego Star Wars Jedi. And from where they are on the map, you can actually see the similarities in those topics. Like if they are far away, those topics are not very related and rarely coming in the same mention, for example. And if they are close, they may be familiar with each other. So again, a great way to get insights. And from that point, you can go to each and every of those topics that we gathered for you and see more about it. Like if it's popular, how, like what hashtags are or phrases are used in those mentions.
Wow, so you
What's the
can really drill
sentiment?
down into the data from any angle.
Yes, exactly. You can see what's the sentiment and where it's happening. Here again, Instagram is ruling. So those and sentiment, and one also the I think personally the coolest feature is AI reports that we implemented a few weeks ago, and we are gathering great reviews on the topic because we. Soon it will be available actually in our Brand24 tool, but at this time we are every week we are sending you an email, and actually let me just go to my Gmail and I will show you one of those. But I will keep talking at the same time when I will be looking for it. So AI reports is something that every week at the beginning of the week we are sending to you, and you can from that gather mm, what's. I'm sorry, you are not seeing my Gmail, not right? Only the tab here.
Oh, you could tell us about it. That's fine. I think yeah, we're just seeing the main tab.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically, okay, I found one. So I will just get this to stop and change the tab to show you. Okay. Okay, so you can see it here. AI reports is something that gathers all the mentions from the past week and transform it to insights. So it's very useful, for example, when you start your week and have no ideas in your mind, you open one of our reports that are sent directly to your email address automatically. And here you can see insights like what happened during this time. This is one of our old reports, the one that I found. So it's from like July. But you see that some spikes may be because of the 30th anniversary of Nintendo, for example.
Sure.
And you have exact mentions that lead to those conclusions. And beside from insights, you have mention rich. You can see how the spikes are going, and it gives you a nice visualization of those insights that we are putting here. And not you don't have to go directly to our tool to see it for yourself. Then trends like how the this week performed comparing to the previous one, and what are the increases, decreases, how it changed, the sentiment chart, and also the recommendations, which is a great option for you if again you lack for example ideas, and or you need a Monday boost, so you can check what our AI solution is
Sure. So it's a great idea to
showing.
gather some inspiration for new
Yes,
directions and ways to focus.
exactly. Sorry. And let me go back to Brand24 for now. So yeah, that's that. Those are main solutions, AI solutions, and as I mentioned before, there are new coming up. So stay tuned, I would say.
Great. No, it's very helpful.
Yes, and also like we mentioned the things that we gather, and also you can always put it in your reports. Like we every week we send you an email report with all the important data from your project. We also put it in a PDF reports that you can generate from our tool. Excel for the ones that are more analytic, and you just need the data and don't want our charts or our pretty personalized PDFs, and infographics that are also like very helpful, but I will not change it for now for the other tabs, so you have to believe me for my word or check it in Brand24
So,
actually.
so it sounds like it's really helping brands to protect their reputation at a very high level, by staying up to date on all of the different insights that the tool is providing and
Mhm.
measuring their brand awareness. I think that was an important detail that you were showing there. I think brand awareness and understanding how your marketing budget is driving those type of results is important. I
Yes.
thought that was particularly interesting where you were showing about analyzing a market or competitors, because that is one thing I think a lot of companies are trying to figure out where they fit into the market, maybe doing a SWOT analysis or different types of marketing analysis is.
And exactly, and if you are as a company still don't listen to your customers, or don't check and don't do market research before like taking new actions, then what are you actually doing? I would say.
Sure,
So
and
yeah,
and obviously being able to discover insights from your customers, understanding how they're focusing on the brand and what the sentiment is. I think that's really
yes.
important.
I think I cannot stress enough how big of a value it is to know what your customers are thinking, because this is like I would say the key for a good performance of your product or of your brand. And social listening is just so important, and it I think that people are starting to grasp the idea even more nowadays. So they understand that it's not about the product, it's about who use them, who use this product actually. So we are not we can think that something is a great revolutionary idea and let's pack a lot of money into it, but to the moment that you don't listen to your customers and potential users, um, that's just not the way to go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let me ask you at a high level, obviously trends are important in terms of different market spaces and things like that. But as far as, social media monitoring in that market, what are some of the higher level trends that you're seeing take place at this point?
Great question. I think that most of like people start to understand that if it comes to social listening, like the customer is on like the most important person here, and we have to understand their needs and their beliefs. And this should be like our main focus. But I would say like to take this data that we provide you and put it in the motion and start using those insights and that social listening provides you with, um, and just get with it.
Got it. And then I guess the other question. So for, a lot of customers have been following Brand24 and thinking about the tool and, focusing on what they've been doing. But for a customer that was, looking at different solutions, are there a couple of points that come top of mind in terms of things that really set Brand24 apart from the competition that you think would help somebody that's on the fence make a decision to focus on Brand24 as their next solution?
Yes, I think so. I not think, I'm sure of it. I think that one thing that you already mentioned is our user experience, user friendly interface. That's what I'm saying, and that it's really easy because nowadays a lot of people, marketers, are using a lot of different tools, and it's good. Like you need to have a broader view, but at the same time, it's a lot of tools to learn from. And to learn how to use them. So, like what we put a big focus on is the user experience and how can we make the user's journey easy from the beginning. And the thing that like comes with no surprise, I guess, is the one that I mentioned also before. I think one of the highest, of the biggest uh, things that we stand out with are our AI solutions, and that we are keeping improving them. So it's not like the AI starts to be a trend now, and in a few years maybe we will hop in and decide to go with the flow. But we are actually putting a lot of time, and a lot of our my colleagues are working on the best solutions for those AI resolutions, so that we can get the best of it for our customers. And also, like one thing that I would say is also important, and it comes also as a trend that you asked about before. Like AI
Sure.
is something that happened, and also real-time monitoring. Like we are living in a really fast-paced world, so we need to keep track of everything that happens, because overnight it can be a catastrophe, and we have to deal with it. And there is no position for us to, as a marketers, to wait like for a week and then just check after a week how our campaign is doing. We have to do it now. And for that, Brand24, for example, has alerts that are going straight to your email whenever there are big increases in your results. Like there is a lot of new mentions, and you can think that oh god, maybe something's happened. So you have the notification from us that something is happening. You also have like we know about work-life balance, of course, and we encourage it. But at the same time, not everybody um, um, has the possibility to do so. For example, because they are one person team, marketing team, for example, and because of that, we have a mobile app that can keep you posted whenever you're even out of your work, or if you're on the meeting, and you can see there if something happens. So like you're always informed about what's happening in your brand. And I think last but not least would be that those tools are getting more expensive as the technology is getting more advanced, and as resolutions happens, like from Twitter, former X now. So I would say that with Brand24, there is this privilege of affordability for the smaller and medium brands that cannot go for the big tech monitoring tools that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but we can give you like all you need for the affordable price. So it's great also for that. And of course, our customer support. As I mentioned before, I cannot thank those people enough, because they are always there to help with any problems. So that's
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask you later, but as long as you brought it up,
mhm.
a lot of support and service is clearly very important. How is support provided for the solution? Is it and what is the availability?
Okay. So one thing that I mean, with our customer support team, it's like we have those two teams. One is responsible for people that are on our, for example, 14-day trial, and they showcase how to use the tool properly, and the one that is taking care of our customers. And we have a lot of possibilities to be reached out with, like our chat icon on the right bottom part. Maybe you have noticed when I was sharing the screen, and there is also somebody waiting for you to ask them questions. And we are also available via general email that you can write to. We have a help center that can, if you don't want to talk to people for now, you can go and check how to use our tool. But I think this is something that we take great pride with, that we are now not going to solutions, automatic solutions, for example, but it's
Sure.
really still really easy to reach a real human being who is really eager to help you with your project. And one case which is also cool is that not only we wait for you, but we also like reach out if we see that there's some improvement that can be made to your project, because we can see that you can take more out of it. And so we are not just waiting there,
Sure. And
but we
I
are
get that
reaching out.
feeling. I can see that everybody in the organization is there behind the scenes, reactively
Yes,
and
even our
proactively.
CEO, like
Yeah.
even our CEO is sometimes like, okay, somebody reached out to me. I was talking with them, but maybe you can now find a solution for him. But he's always there to help everybody. He's always active on his social media, so that anybody who wants to reach out, he's not like CEO, so he won't
No,
respond,
that's
but
great.
he's just one of our human beings here in the brand.
And let me ask you, for brands that are getting started with monitoring and managing their online reputation, what advice do you have at a high level for brands that are just getting started? What's important?
I think to like one of the key values is to really dig deep into who your customers are, and understand them and understand their needs and their pain points. Also the market that you're on. Like there can be a lot of good insights, so that like when you're starting, you know what exactly those people needs. So like this is something I would stress the most. Get to know your customers, get to know their needs, and just follow with that. Not something that you came up with and thought that this would be a good idea, but to just listen to those people, because they are your users, they are the ones that are going to use your product. So it's just the only rightful solution to to just go with this.
And I heard you say earlier that it's important for brands to be responding to all feedback. So, how would you balance responding, or what advice would you give in terms of responding to both negative and positive feedback? What's important to keep in mind for brands as they're responding to both types of feedback?
I think that there is this small difference in positive and negative feedback, but all in all, I would say that if it is possible for you, just respond to all of them. People enjoy it when they see that that's not only the brand but real people behind it, and they care about what you're saying and they want to listen to you. And because of that, you get like great brand ambassadors. But basically, whenever like you use our sentiment filter and you see those negative feedbacks, I would say respond to them, don't ignore them. And as for now, I think that there is no place for not taking it seriously anymore. Like maybe a few years ago, when the market was not so overflown with new solutions and somebody can just skip to the other one and leave you behind, you have
Sure,
to take like responsible for your own actions. And something that I think that's is a big mistake nowadays, but people seem to tend to use it again and again, is, for example, non-apologetic apology, actually. So that you're just, saying that we know that you can, like, you felt bad about this, but something. And I think that you just need to raise up to the occasion, just say that you're sorry and try to maybe take the conversation offline and respond to them directly and ask for more details and follow up with the solution. Not only say that, okay, we understand what you're saying, thank you, bye bye, but actually be back and say, hey, we discovered that there is something that can help you with your problem, and it's this and this. I
sure,
actually use this often when I conduct case studies with our customers, and they are saying that, for example, this is not working for them or they need help with something, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it to our team and we'll see what we can do with it. And I always like keep my promise and go back to them and say, hey, we unfortunately we couldn't, but we are going to do something about it or not, because, and I give um, uh, the reason why. Or I'm saying that, hey, we found a solution for your problem and here it is. So that's change this negative feedback for something that you can like use actually, because getting a positive ending from a negative feedback is something really cool, and I think that people remember it afterwards. And if it comes to the positive feedback, I would say just also don't ignore it. It's not like step out of your high horse and just
sure.
say thank you. And it doesn't cost much, but it's important to keep this informal connection with those customers that are already like putting effort to write something good about you, so you should be grateful. And maybe follow up, like use it for, sometimes you can use it for your advantage, for example, as a testimonial somewhere, or ask them if they want to collaborate somehow. This is also a great way of influencer acquisition. So there's a lot of opportunities, and I would say if you are able to just respond to all of them, and if not, use our filters to choose the ones that are like most important, for example, important for the occasion.
Yeah, and it sounds obviously increasingly more important as every market space is becoming more and more competitive. And obviously, a lot of companies are looking to maximize their return on their advertising spend and all of that. So, really staying engaged in all of the different channels is very important.
Yes.
As far as influencers, obviously that's an important component to social media and all of that. Are there particular things that brands might look for in maximizing their impact with influencers, or finding the right type of influencers to represent their brand? Is there anything that you might suggest in that area?
I think the most important thing is to remember to choose the right influencers because nowadays, like, it's not always about the money and how big of an influencer you can find with the money you have. It's more about people to like setting clear objectives and finding people that suits it, and choose the right influencers to that are familiar with the values that you are having in your company, and they are sharing it, so that, for example, sometimes micro influencers can be more useful for you than the big ones because they are more compatible with your brand and with your market. So just go and check properly if those influencers are the ones that you are looking for, because sometimes you can find yourself in the situation that finding those small and just uh, raising up influencers better than the big ones that are already promoting loads of stuff and that are not actually credible enough for you and for example your smaller brands. And I don't know, also like be authentic and transparent with your influencers campaign, that say that it's a promotion, don't hide it, and it's actually a
Sure. So
vacation right
just
now, but
Yeah, just being upfront about that. And then finally, as we're kind of wrapping up, for brands that are looking at metrics and all of that, can you suggest what are the most important metrics and data that these brands should be tracking as they're growing their social media campaigns? Is there an area or two that you think are top of mind or most important in terms of the metrics they should be following on a consistent basis?
hmm yes, of course they are. I mean, um, it differs actually. Like based on what your needs for the given campaign are, but mostly I would say the reach and number of mentions is something that marketers are tending to focus on. But sometimes I think that checking the user generated content is more important, because this is something that your users are saying about you, so they are already like a bigger brand ambassadors and not just a random person that sees your campaign and just goes further. So like um, using this campaign to gather as many people who are somehow not only familiar but connected to your brand is something really really great. So I would say user generated content in something, but also from Brand24 I would say social listening metrics that are really important is as I mentioned for mentions and reach of those, like in social media and in non-social media platforms, so you can see how your brand is performing, because it's not only about campaigns but the whole brand and where it is and how can you use this knowledge. So for example, by categories share, you can see that there is a lot of people talking about you on the blogs. So maybe this is the way to go. And also the sentiment. I think it's really important to know that you can have a lot of mentions, but if they are negative, it's not good that you have those mentions. So just see it in the bigger perspective, not just focus on the numbers, but like use those metrics to draw a bigger picture of what is happening in your brand. And I think that social listening and Brand24 can help you with that.
Okay, no, that's very helpful. So we're going to leave a link in the show notes for anyone that would like to get up and running with Brand24. But as companies are trying to decide between the different plans, obviously it goes all the way from an individual plan up to an enterprise plan. What are the key differences between the plans that would help a company choose the right solution?
I think actually the best option is for you to reach out to us, to our team, and just say what are your needs, and we will trustfully show you what are like those plans giving you. But I think the biggest differences are the number of mentions we gather, because some of the projects that I showed you, for example, Samsung, are the big ones, and it costs a lot of time to gather it and a lot of our effort. So
Sure.
we have this blog for like 25K mentions and stuff like that. So this is something for the bigger brands you want to follow. You would need a bigger plan. And also the AI solutions is something that we are developing right now, and we want to like go really serious about it. So we are deciding on giving the uh, most out of the box ones that are actually a super helpful feature, but not a necessity in the case of social listening for example, smaller brands, to the bigger plans. So
Okay. And I saw that there's a free trial so customers can get started with the
yes.
brand and get an idea as to how the tool fits into their
Exactly.
needs.
40,
Okay.
14-day free trials, so everybody can check how it's performing, if it's something for them, and if not, it's not. There is no credit card requirement, so you can just easily log in with your email address and check it out, and there is no consequences of it. So
Okay.
I
Well,
recommend it.
great. Yeah, that's fantastic. I really appreciate your taking the time out to help our listeners understand the solution, and really thank you for your time today. So, joining us from Poland, we have Waleria Pogowska. Is that how you pronounce your last name correctly? Is that
Yeah. It's Waleria
wonderful?
Pongowska, but you did pretty well, I would say. Really well, actually. And yes, I would like to thank you once again for the opportunity to tell about our product a little bit more, because everybody here in our team cares for it. And we want our customers to, and possible users to know that we will take good care of them. And I hope that things that I said today will help some of you decide about if you need social listening, and I am sure that you need it, and if Brand24 is a right tool for you. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much for your time. And coming up on our next episode of the Software Spotlight, we have RV Hersenberg from Smart Suite, and their solution helps companies plan, track, and manage any type of workflow. So it's a very neat solution for project management. So thank you for your time today, and
Thank you.
we appreciate your support.